Welcome back. The market still doing well, slightly off the highs. Advanced decline still very strong at 4:1. But let's see if it sustains. Let's address the space of the moment, which is fertilizers. The government has introduced new packaging rules for fertilizer companies, where they now need to ensure that 2/3 of the fertilizer bag use the Bharat logo. This leaves 1/3 of the bag space open for corporate branding. K.S. Raju, Chairman at Fertiliser Association of India, is now joining us. Mr. Raju, hi, good morning. Thanks for joining us. So, is this official? Is this official now? And what's your reaction? Because for a lot of companies, this takes away their sort of branding power. So, what would be your view?
Yes, this has been now introduced. The order has been passed that they shall be followed in the following manner. But this didn't happen, in the last few days. There's been a dialogue with the industry, with the ministry, over a period of time, and it was felt that since the government is subsidizing in a very, very significant manner urea and of course all of the fertilizers, government felt that this should be known to the public, to the farmers who are using the fertilizers. The government is indeed supporting, like so many other schemes that the government is giving. Whereas hitherto, which is the company's brand and it is being sold, it is a relationship with the company and the distributors and the farmers, and it is going like that. So that the real knowledge or understanding of the farmers, of the kind of support, significant support coming from the government was not there. Some people knew about it, but so there has been a dialogue between the government and the industry, and it is felt that the public should know, the farmer should know.
Mr. Raju, industry, I'm assuming, and you would have the feedback from companies, would not be too pleased, right? I mean, this does take away brand differentiation, etc. What's the feedback really?
Well, we discussed this as well. For decades together, every company built its brands to differentiate between one another. But eventually, if you go to the bottom line, is that urea is urea. It's made by us, Nagarjuna, made by somebody else. And so is with DAP and the NPKs. So there's no really product differentiation, it's only the brand differentiation. And yes, we spend a lot of time and effort and money over so many decades. It is in that sense, we will not be able to differentiate as much. However, with the government, it is a bilateral discussion. We agreed that we will go this way, and it has gone on a mutually agreeable basis. So this should be implemented like that.
Will there be enough time, though, to make the transition? And in case a company is unable to do that, will there be some kind of penalty?
There will be more of a printing of a bag, really. Printing of a bag. So printing in the old way, they print it the new way. Standardization. I don't think it will be done very quickly. There should be no issue.
Did you get the feedback that they'll have to? By the way, could you tell us what are marketing costs for fertilizer companies as a percentage of sales? I mean, would you have those kind of numbers? Will they have to spend more in other ways because the product itself will carry lesser of the branding now?
Not really. If you look at let's look at the major segments in the fertilizers. Urea is one, phosphorus is another, and SSP is another, the third. Now, urea, we are as a country, we are still a deficient country. We're still importing a lot of urea. And every product that's made in the country is sold. It's more of a distribution, really. We don't have to really struggle to sell our product and market our product and do market development. But there is a little bit here and there, but primarily it's a matter of distribution more than real marketing. And marketing expense is very, very insignificant in that sense. So we don't see any issue about the products getting absorbed in the market. In any case, the farmers and the dealers will get used to it very quickly. This is how it's going to be. Everybody's going to do the same thing. And surely every company's brand is there, though in a shorter format. It will be there, and that networks and the distribution, everything will go. Okay. So in a distributed model, really, there should not be major impact here.
Mr. Raju, a word on, now let's move away from this topic, on the sector itself, because a lot of these companies are facing pressure in terms of gas prices. So if you could tell us how's that looking and if there is enough supply for the sector.
Gas prices, yes, in the last several months, because of the Ukraine crisis, there has been a significant spike in the price of gas, and therefore, in a lot of our urea production, in particular, we import a lot of LNG. And LNG prices have gone through the roof. It is beyond any of our expectations. So, but there's a higher demand on a working capital, surely. But the government reimburses, even if it's a higher cost, it reimburses that incremental cost and is covered under the subsidy arrangement. So at the end of the day, if you take over a 12-month period, yes, this is a matter of concern for the country. The whole subsidy bill is going up significantly. Working capital demand on the industry is surely there, but it gets reimbursed. There is a problem of supplies.
Even if it gets reimbursed, there is this whole problem of supply, as you just pointed out, right? Wanted to ask you, is there enough supply to the sector now, or is that a big concern?
Last few months, there has been some short supply, given the issues around Ukraine-Russian war battle, and the curtailment of supplies have increased the LNG prices significantly. Number two is that the sanctions and so on have affected the supply as well. So there is a move to reduce the supply to at least to make do with at least 10 to 15% of the supplies.
Mr. Raju,
for a short while until things improve.
Right.
Yes, supply has been an issue, and all of us are feeling the pinch.
What about that is gas? We're talking about gas, but there is also the issue of potash, etc. Right? Because of plants overseas, ammonia. How does that impact the Indian fertilizer scene? Briefly.
Yes, overall, all imports, ammonia production capacities have come down in Europe, given the lesser availability of gas. And ammonia is imported into India to make phosphates, and potash is also imported, and phosphates are also imported. So, yes, there has been some impact. Prices have gone up in all these areas.
But for companies, it doesn't make. But for companies, I mean, there is not, their equation does not change, right? Because the government, they go to the government, they ask for more. Prices have gone up, you got to subsidize more, and the government takes a call. So the equation for companies does not change, right?
Not as much, yes.
Okay, got that.
Mr. Raju, we'll leave it there today. Thanks a lot for joining us. So that's Fertiliser Association of India. The market